Hello and welcome to the good, the bad and the what the fucks volume 4 for the one and only legendary Samuel L. Jackson. And to be honest with you, I was kind of done. I even said on an update I was done. The good, the bad and the what the fucks are a lot of fun to do, and it's like if you go back to the originals like the Heyman and the Feldman ones, I say that was my hands there. I really enjoyed revisiting them and stuff like that. And the originality of them was like, by the end of them, I'm like, what the fuck, this, that, the other. And then, there's so many videos coming out lately. The good, the bad, and the what the fucks have kind of been lost in the shuffle, and it's kind of like, I wanted to do a bit more, but then, by boo-boo, at work, at dinner, I watch random stuff. So recently I've watched Earthquake. I couldn't stop laughing at Earthquake. It's a marvel when it was made. But there's some really cheesy ending in it. I watched Den of Thieves, Twists and Turns, Get Carter, you know, Black Klansman. I just go, right, if it's in the back, I don't own it, haven't really had an interest to watch it, I'll watch it, because that's a perk of the job. So, Legend of Tarzan. So I put it on, and I thought, right, okay, Alexander Skarsgård is in King Kong vs Godzilla, Margaret Robbie. I was like, alright, I'll put it on. And then fucking Samuel L. Jackson walked in, and I looked at back at the box, and like Samuel L. Jackson's name is kind of hidden by Tarzan's head and the monkey. I was like, right, okay, it's a gorilla. And so yeah, Samuel L. Jackson's in it. Christopher Waltz is in this. So it's alright, so it's the pick of the Tarantino bunch. And yeah, fuck me. Samuel L. Jackson's popping up everywhere. And now deciding to do a new The Bad, the What the Fuck in June. It's the 11th of June today. There's going to be no rush for this one, so I'll probably get back to it, and it just depends. I know I've picked up stuff like Basic and Captain Marvel's still in there to watch. Thanks once again, Comic. Sorry for that, months ago. It wouldn't be hard for us to find 10 Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson today actually said he's his top 5 films. Red Violin, not seen that. 187 was in there. Oh fuck me, my brain's gonna bleed. It was 5 films in there. I've just looked at it. Anyway, man, Tarzan, like the CGI, I mean, the myths and Jungle Books and the blurred lines between what the Jungle Book is, and I've seen Jungle Book of the pictures when I was a kid with Jason Scott Lee, and you know, the whole fast track. And another film I watched recently and had kind of memories of, and like again watching it at work, I thought, what the fuck, was Phantom. And again, this felt like watching Phantom. Like Tarzan's Tarzan, Jane's Jane. It's established. Samuel L. Jackson's like, you're Tarzan. He's like, no, I'm not. And then all of a sudden it's fast tracked, and they're like back to the fucking Congo, and he's mates with the lions, and he's mates with all the gorillas and stuff. And then the film just seems to be like Christopher Waltz wants some fucking diamonds, and then Margaret Robbie's Jane, she gets kidnapped, and like next thing you know there's a fucking stampede and some really bad CGI. And it's like Dr. Dolittle, and like fair enough, like the Skarsgård guy, I mean, he's rimmed and all that, and I don't know, like, there's a lot of money in there, but like when it comes to Samuel Jackson, it's like, fuck me, it's a bad movie, because Samuel Jackson's playing the Yang character. He's like just walking around with his rifle, and he's just like, oh, you're fucking Tarzan. And now I'm watching this, I've watched it over 3 days, and I was just, this is so bad. And this is why you do the good, the bad, the what the fucks, because like, I know like Basic could probably be watched. I know Disney Plus and Stars drop stuff like the Great White Hype and all that out there. There's a lot of Jackson about, but the guy's a workaholic. But when you go, right, we're going to do a Tarzan remake again, look at Kong, Skull Island, right? And you chuck Samuel Jackson, and then you think, fucking hell. And you chuck Samuel Jackson here or there and that. You say, oh, we're going to make a Tarzan movie, and like again, it's going back like, you know, Mowgli was getting made at the same time, and you go, right, okay, Tarzan, Mowgli. It's Armageddon, Deep Impact, all over again, that kind of crap. And you watch this and you kind of, fuck me, Jackson, you took a paycheck there. A lot of green screen, a lot of fucking randomness. Big cast though. I mean, you're gonna see that name cast, the Legend Tarzan, you're gonna fucking go and see it. Do you know what I mean? It's big, but it was just the random CGI, and it felt like Speed 2 at the end. Boats crashing into the pier, fighting around the pier, bit of fucking Sherlock Holmes in there, the fight scene kind of thing around the piers, and I'm like, you know, again, it's borrowed a bit from Disney, where like, right, you know the origin story, but here's a conclusion story. Like, you know, to Tarzan's in, or what happens if he goes back? Well, he says hi to everyone, and then has a fight with his brother, who's a gorilla, and next thing you know, he's like mates with crocodiles, and you think, what the fuck's going on here? And Samuel Jackson's just like, he is Tarzan, and you're like, oh my god. And then there's a bit where Tarzan's swinging around and Samuel Jackson's on his back. And there's a bit where they go, right, we've not seen First Blood, technically, and Samuel Jackson jumps through the trees and they're all running across the trees, and you think, right, okay, Tarzan doesn't seem that special. Everyone else can run across the trees. Anyway, so yeah, this is a very, very unplanned Samuel Jackson beginning, because, like, as I said, I put it down and I didn't even fucking remember Samuel Jackson was in it until he went, yo, Tarzan. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, fuck me, man, Samuel Jackson. He's fucking everywhere. So welcome to The Good, The Bad, and What the Fuck's Volume 4, unplanned for Samuel Jackson. I'll see you in the next part of the video, which will be a while, hopefully. Hello, welcome to Samuel Jackson, Volume 4, Part 2. Still drunk from last night. Right, this is cheap. I haven't watched a Samuel Jackson film last night, but in the era of good, bad, and what the fuck, this is the what the fuck movie, because Samuel Jackson briefly appears in My Date with Drew, and it's like the Charlie's Angels premiere, and they're filming, and Samuel Jackson's like, and that's it. Not name checked on the front, not name checked on IMDb, might be just name checked as himself. But yeah, Samuel Jackson is My Date with Drew, so yeah, it is a what the fuck movie for that. The movie, if you've never seen it before, a guy obsessed with Drew Barrymore since he was a kid, and they're roughly around the same age, wins money on a game show, and he basically, the answer is Drew Barrymore, so it's like sign of faith. So he's an inspiring filmmaker, and basically uses the money as a budget. He buys a camera from Radio Shack or something like that he can return in 30 days. So he has 30 days to make his movie, and he lives in the Hollywood area, and it just shows you like the 6 degrees of separation in Hollywood, from hairdressers to friends to agents to casting people, and Andy Dick. Hey, Andy Dick. It's so fucking brilliant how Andy Dick's in it. But again, it comes off quite weird, because like when Brit watches, she's like, because he's obsessed. Although you can eventually see he's got a heart of gold, and like there is a massive positive message about the movie about following your dreams, and it's been well captured as a documentary. Samuel Jackson, as I said, there appear at the Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Corey Feldman pops up in there, and again, there's people just like trying to get in contact with Drew Barrymore, and I think the resolution and what happens at the end, and when Drew Barrymore actually comes into it, it's fucking class. She is just a beam of light. She's just fantastic, and like the way it's been put together, I mean, it's old school, so it's very slim, small, and big, like flat screens and stuff like that. But like, it's an amazing movie. It is an amazing movie. But when it comes to Samuel Jackson, it's a what the fuck, because what the fuck, Samuel Jackson. So yeah, entry 2, My Date with Drew, Samuel Jackson. So that was My Date with Drew. Tick. I'll be back later on. This might make sense then. Hello and welcome back to the Samuel Jackson's The Good, The Bad, and The What the Fuck. Now I believe this is volume 3. No, not volume 3 as in the series, but entry 3, I should have said. Anyway, right, okay, so last night we watched The Hateful Eight in one go. Wow, I used to have the steelbook, but I originally picked it back up. Walton Goggins, obviously, I remember seeing Hateful Eight, the pictures, and just being blown away by it, and wanted to get the steelbook, but Walton Goggins is absolutely class. It's been around since like Karate Kid, The Next Generation. The Next Karate Kid, that's what it was called, not The Next Generation. That would be Cobra Kai. He could turn up in Cobra Kai. Anyway, back to this. As is a request, Brit loves Hateful Eight, loves Walton Goggins. We even got the pop vinyl of him. And it's one of those ones, it's like with Django and this, it's like the 3-hour ones, and it's just like, right, you're trying to get as many Samuel Jackson films in as possible, and we put it on. And straight away, it just feels freezing. It's slow, it looks amazing in the 65, into the 70, like the frame rate's really weird on televisions. It must look amazing when it's going to come out in 4K. And the gun sounds amazing as well. But it's a long drawn out one. And obviously it's obviously a who's who of Tarantino's
You've got the Michael Madsen's in there, you've got the Tim Roths from Reservoir Dogs, and you've got the Samuel Jacksons, and you've got Kurt Russell back from like Death Proof and stuff like that. But then put Walton Goggins in this, who to me personally is the star of the movie. As I say, going back to Justified, I love Justified, and that's the first exposure I've had of Walton Goggins. Then to actually revisit Justified with Britt, and just to see how good the guy's been, and then to get this breakout role. Tarantino must totally be a fan of Justified, with Timothy Olyphant also now being in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What's really cool about it, Kurt Russell's in there, and then obviously since its release, and the camera's going to shake because I'm pulling this out here, since this came out, the Thing with the Lost Cues, same composer, Ennio Morricone, I always get his name wrong, but obviously you've got the Lost Cues by John Carpenter as well, and there's definitely 3, maybe 4 music cues where music from The Thing plays over the top, and when you look into it, there's a lot of inspiration for The Thing, and it's the isolation, it's who's done it who, and Tarantino's got the twist on with the stripper in the fucking cellar, but it's kind of like who's done it kind of thing. As I say, it's again with a gore. It's like when he shoots his fucking head off. It's extreme gore, and that's it. You know, the cold, the locations, the scale. It's just a fucking amazing movie. It's just epically long. Do you know what I mean? But when it comes to Samuel L. Jackson, it's great to see him. Obviously, always work with Tarantino again. I think this is one of his better roles. As I say, Kurt Russell and all that, and Walton Goggins just nails it on the head. We got Bruce Dern, you know, Yo Rumsfeld in there as well. As a movie, you know, and as an experience, it's amazing. You know what I mean? It's probably not going to be one to go to because you're like 3 hours long, but again, it's a slow burner. It's really funny in some parts as well. The dialogues, obviously, with Tarantino is just amazing. So, yeah, number 3, technically number 3. I believe it's number 3. I've had Tarzan, and what was the other one by accident? It was Tarzan and it was something, I can't remember what the fucking were. I've watched something else with Samuel L. Jackson in recently. I know this is the 3rd entry, and there will be a 4th. See you in the next video. Hello, back to the Samuel L. Jacksons for the good, the bad, and the what the fucks. Look, Steve Mason, director of photography. Basic, I remember seeing Basic when it first came out, and when you look at the front cover and you just see John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson reunited, obviously from Pulp Fiction. It's gonna sell. It's gonna rent. It doesn't really put on the front of the box that it's directed by John McTiernan, Predator and Die Hard from Die Hard with Vengeance. So there's a connection back to Samuel L. Jackson, Die Hard with Vengeance. You got Giovanni Ribisi in this. You've got a lot of this familiar faces of some of the cast, the last from Mindhunters and stuff like that. But like, man, it's sort of like it's a red herring film. Like, it's definitely going in the bad for the categories because it's like Samuel L. Jackson's starts off, the CGI doesn't look great from a helicopter, and again, it's the guy who directed Predator, you know what I mean, the CGI and the green screen and the helicopter just looks so fake, and it's very much like, it's almost like a ghost story of like the team. Schwarzenegger, the guys finding Predator, like this team just goes missing and there's one guy, there's 2 guys left, and like the stories are all over the place, and the stories keep getting retold as John Travolta comes in as an interrogator and what happened to like Samuel Jackson and his gang, and it keeps changing every time they talk to somebody, and him and this last is trying to work it out, and then it's got the twist ending, and it's just, I found it really boring. It's just like, well, there you go, it's a bad one for Jackson, and it's definitely a bad one for John Travolta and John McTiernan, because John McTiernan's work's normally class, but like this is just a real stinker, really. So yeah, that's number 4 anyway. As I say, just not. I remember when it came out, and just again you watch it, and then it just starts telling the story again, and he did it, no he did it, no he did it, he did it, and then there's like, Henry Clark Jr. is in it as well. I've just butchered his name, but yeah, it's one to avoid when it comes to Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, on paper it should be mint, reuniting. It's called Basic. I don't know why they just called it Basic, but yeah, whatever. Fuck that. It's a bad one. Next one. Hello to the next part of Samuel L. Jackson for the good, the bad, and the what the fucks, and it's SWAT. Picked this up the other day when I was hunting for XXX. Now obviously I'm going to try and get XXX 1, 2 and 3 in this one as well. And picked up SWAT. I think it was
like 3 DVDs for £1, and I was like, oh fucking hell, SWAT, there's another Jackson. Samuel Jackson gets his name top billed on that. So it's Samuel Jackson, Colin Farrell, Michelle Rodriguez, LL Cool J. That's the kind of film where and Samuel Jackson now reunites Samuel Jackson along with LL Cool J from Deep Blue Sea. Colin Farrell's on the rise. Michelle Rodriguez is just, like being a force to be reckoned with, coming off the back end of Fast and the Furious. Massive soundtrack in this. Linkin Park's used in it. Hendrix is used in it. Very rolling montage. I think Jeremy Renner's in this. He's the villain. He doesn't even get name checked. So he does after the Bridget the Midget's in it as well. There's a few people, famous people in small roles. You go, I've seen them in Summit, and the lassie who's just became really famous for Mama, and I think she's in The Help. She's in a small cameo. Get the fuck away from my doorstep. Have you got nothing else to do than arrest somebody? Like random cameo. Well, not even a cameo, just a small role. Has a home footage vibe to it as well. SWAT's went on to be, I think it's had quite a few sequels, and it's a very, very confusing franchise. It's like confusion as Universal Soldiers. I think the last couple of SWATs have been straight to Netflix, but then there's a TV show. There was a SWAT 2, and then like the new SWAT. It's like snipers, like which way around do they go? They're not called SWAT 1, 2, and 3. But the Force Reckon with the first one, even Cops Down 999 to 12. Probably could have done between a 15, be a bit more violent and bloody. It's all a bit of a twist and a turn if you want to see a very similar film to that, where it goes the 18 rated. Obviously Saboteur with Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. For Jackson though, it's a good film. I just had it on the background there. I think, they had a lot of fun in it, and again a lot of music drive and stuff. You can see why Colin Farrell was shit hot at that time. LL Cool J as well. You know what I mean? It'll be the origin stories of LL Cool J and getting his foot in the door for stuff like NCSI and stuff like that. Well packaged DVD, solid disc. Do you know what I mean? Not cheaply made or recycled in any way, shape or form. Had this on VHS and be knocking it around. But yeah, again, SWAT, special weapons and tactical. Special weapons and tactical? Yeah. Some of the tactics and some of the... yes, that's what SWAT stands for, hopefully. But yeah, this has been obviously Good, the Bad and What the Fucks. I say Triple X, I hunted them down, how I found SWAT. So it's Friday, ended up with a random furlough day today, so I'm off doing some editing. If you want to know what I'm doing, I'm editing fast forward to use the final episode, the tournament. So yeah, tournament, old school footage, and SWAT. It's your Friday. It is raining outside, but yeah, quite a good film. Oh, the bit where he's fucking Jeremy Renner throws his head against the glass and the glass breaks and you feel the glass, you go, oh, so it's got some really good bits in it, some nice bits. So you have to see the next part of the video. Hello there. Okay, welcome to the next part of Samuel Jackson's Good, the Bad and What the Fucks. If you follow the channel, you will know that this is my new seat. There's the noises there, I still haven't got over. If you watch the update for June, I literally go ass over tit backwards as the chair breaks, like the camera's there, and I'm like this by the end of it, and then the next day disaster struck. Okay, so I've just watched Rules of Attraction, Rules of Engagement. It's got a fucking horrible fucking cash converter sticker on. Now I've had this one picked up for a while. Oh, it's going to come off quite nice actually. I wish they would all come off like that. Fuck my life. Now I remember seeing this when it first came out back in the day. This is like a hidden gem of the end of like video shops to rent, DVD shops, whatever you want to call them by that point. Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel Jackson should be enough to get you to buy it and watch it. Tommy Lee Jones has a history of court films, like with a client and stuff like that, and then Samuel Jackson going back to A Time to Live. I can't believe I got a copyright claim. When I used Time to Live and I was on about flipping the fucking disc over in the last Samuel Jackson one, I got a copyright claim and it was okay. It's fine if someone else gets the money. I was like, well, that's fine, but you know what I mean? It's unintentional. I was just trying to show you how you have to fucking flip the disc over. So yeah, Rules of Attraction. Rules of Engagement. Fucking powerful film, man. I mean, the start of the movie, and basically, long story short, there's a lot of famous people you recognise. Tackleberry's in there. Like, fuck me, it's one of the it is Tackleberry's one of his last fucking films. That's Tackleberry. Blair Underwood. He was like got a lot of back in the day. Ben Kingsley's in there as well.
Ryan Hurst has just appeared, Opie from Sons of Anarchy, and I was like, I recognise that guy, and he's fucking clean shaved and skinhead, and he's fucking young as fuck. That's mid 2000s as well, so it's like fucking hell. So basically, film of two halves really. Samuel Jackson, and it basically starts off and it goes all the way back to Vietnam, and it shows you the relationship between Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel Jackson, and the brotherhood of being in the army. Pretty cool. Pretty graphic as it always should be. I think Vietnam, there's never any love stories come out of it really. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones has done stuff like Heaven and Earth, so Tommy Lee Jones has done a lot of stuff like back in the past with like the war films, so he's a rounded veteran, you know. I think that's what makes him more believable, as well as becomes a more veteran actor, you know. He's had that much past experiences. He definitely, you know, he's just fucking class, Tommy Lee Jones. Say what you want about Two-Face and all that kind of stuff, but he's just fucking brilliant. Especially both of them are in this. So yeah, him and Sam Jackson know each other from ages. Sam Jackson's still in there. It's weird to see Tommy Lee Jones having a mum and dad in a movie. It's like, I don't know. He always looks old. He even looks old in it's a fucking John Carpenter from Black Moon Rising. Especially when he starts doing kicks and stuff like ninja style. But yeah. So basically it all goes south when Samuel Jackson's still serving, and he's got a air group, and they're trying to protect an American embassy, and they're just getting bombarded by the locals, and they're pinned down from snipers, and there's a massive crowd. It's a big protest. They're stuck on the roof. Jackson's friend is Jackson's obviously one of the people he's in command of, gets shot and actually dies in his arms, and they're all pinned down on the roof, and he just does fucking waste the motherfuckers, because he looks over and they're all fucking shooting. Everyone's like shooting them. It's like the scene from Hot Fuzz when they're all pulling guns out and shooting at them, and he's just like, waste the motherfuckers, and they just get up and annihilate 88 people just like fucking like a lawnmower. It's like bloody hell, like fuck. And I mean, that's the bit of the movie, and like the fallout of the movie is the fact that obviously Samuel Jackson's going to get the blame for it, so he's going to get like crucified because the American government don't want to take the fall for it, and that's the story. So he reaches out to Tommy Lee Jones to say basically like, can you help me? And that's where the film really kicks in. Again, Guy Pearce is in here in a very early role as well. And again, it's all about the courtroom drama, so it kicks in a few good men kind of thing going on, where we want the truth, and like the VHS has gone missing. I haven't got a VHS. I've got absolutely loads of VHS behind us, but yeah, the VHS has gone missing. It's that Wesley Snipes was stuck to his back in Murder 1600. This VHS is the only copy. It's not digital. There's not a backup. It's gone. That's bugging me now. I can't roll and actually get a VHS. Absolutely fucking hundreds of them. But anyway, yeah, it's all a courtroom drama, and it's the only criticism I've got of it, it just seems to suddenly fucking end. Sort of like, you think that not too much spoiler, but you think the tape's going to have something to do with it, and the tape is a big part of the story. But there's a proper curveball from the past, and you went, alright, that's pretty cool, because again, it's about the rules of combat and the rules of engagement, hence the name of the film. And then it suddenly seems to wrap up, and you're like, right, teach me how to fly fish, and like, what? You know what I mean? So, that was Rules of Engagement. If you've never seen it, it's a fucking belting movie, I think. Tommy Lee Jones, Samuel Jackson. Absolutely mint. And for now, see you in the next part of the video. Welcome to the next part of Samuel Jackson. It's been about 4 days since I've been in the editing room. Door's been locked. Left this cup of coffee there. It's been there. It's like when he wakes up. Now, can you guess what the film is? We're talking about XXX. Now, recently, Brit brought us this back. Dun dun dun. And I went actually on a mission to find XXX, because I didn't own it. I don't know how I didn't own it. And when it comes to Samuel Jackson, we can literally get through all 3 XXXs, and that'll fill this episode out. So, when this came along, man, Rob Cohen, like, a guy who was a good producer of Running Man. In fact, I think he got fired from Running Man, but he'd been in the background for a while, did stuff like Dragonheart. He's been on a lot of stuff. He even worked with Samuel Jackson years previously. Samuel Jackson was actually one of his location scouts and stuff like that. So again, it was really good. Now, Fast and the Furious had just hit big, even though Vin Diesel had been popping up and stuff like Boiler Room, that is the floorboard, and stuff like Private Ryan, as well as Strokes.
and stuff like that. He had directed earlier on, so he's a very wide-in guy. No matter how action style you want to put it, if you want to see him in Boiler Room, you know what I mean. He's got a very there's something about him, very charismatic about him. And Fast and Furious was just a fucking massive hit now. As I say, Universal pulled the trigger on Too Fast, Too Furious. Revolution Pictures at this time it took the script. This time we'd had enough of the Pierce Brosnan, and this was just before we got the Daniel Craig James Bond. So you know, America's not really ever had their spies super by. I'm not going to say that you know, England's always had a really good spy. They've had a couple of misfires with Jack Ryan quite a few times and stuff like that. But yeah, there we are. So Vin Diesel, name checked right across the top. The girl, creep name. Samuel Jackson. Man, Samuel Jackson is not even name checked in the credits on the back or appear in the back. So he is literally like a fucking glorified cameo. So anyway, Revolution came along and Rob Coleman jumped on the fact. So this is the film that followed Fast and Furious and really put Vin Diesel on the map after Pitch Black, and then Fast and Furious, then this. He was pretty much becoming a household name at this. And what this film does is literally hits 100 miles an hour. It's a nice twist. I mean, it's got one of the best intros to a movie ever. Like this era of like discovery of DVD for a start. DVD became the major format like this. So Triple X come along, loads of extra features. Triple X would get reissue with the Extreme Edition where they would kill off Vin Diesel. After that, with a very run into the building, explode his neck tattoo. And we'll get there. But anyway, going back to the film, starts off with one of the best intros ever, Rammstein. But not just Rammstein's music playing like back to the day when CKY would do the similar thing. Rammstein are actually in the fucking film, you know, walking in, album had not long been out. Rammstein were huge off Sonne on Krang, and there's Rammstein fucking fire blowing. James Bond kind of guy running through trying to save it. Europe as well. Europe looks really good in this. And yeah, we got one of the best intros. The way the music's even cued, the fucking special effects, the fucking logo coming over it, it's really good. And then straight into hit with the cameos. Here comes Tony Hawk, here comes Matt Hoffman, and fucking some really good stunts. And this is what this film's got, loads of fucking real stunts. But then you've got the obviously snowboarding down the avalanche, CGI, skateboarding down the fucking with the tray. There is some ludicrous shit, but it's that time, it's that era. But like some of the stuff looked really good. The cocaine plant looks amazing, and the bike stuff and all that, especially like the stunts, enhance explosions and stuff like that. Vin Diesel, so arrogant in this, and I think it works well. But this is where I was talking before. If you see him in Boiler Room when he's good in that, this seems like forced delivery, like almost like a wrestler's promos. I live for this shit. Just like, you don't really buy that. Samuel Jackson, on the other hand, comes into this and like, again, Samuel Jackson is not mentioned on the box. And when you look at in England, the next level, also known as State and Union in America, Samuel Jackson is actually on the front cover, but his name's not. And Scott Speedman is. And in America, Scott Speedman's on the cover instead of Samuel Jackson. Like, whatever. We'll get there when we watch State and Union. Or fucking Next Level, whatever you called. I'm looking forward to that as well because I'm a massive fan of Ice Cube. But this film's got loads going down for it. As I say, it is exactly a popcorn movie. I think people who are big fans of Fast and Furious will enjoy the Triple X franchise. Warrant enough that Vin Diesel has went back to it and obviously returned for the third one. But also, Vin Diesel's also rediscovered Riddick more than once. You know, I mean, Riddick, Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, and Assault on Darth Athenia, and Dark Fury. Like, it's almost as bad as the fucking First Blood series of trying to put them in fucking order of fucking clusterfuck of the names. But yeah, he's a household name, and this is one of the films that just this is like strapping a fucking rocket to his back and going boom. It's funny. It's pop nostalgia for the time. Tony Hawk and Matt Hoffman both being in the era of computer games, how they're really big. Music as well. There's loads of music cues in this, not just Rammstein. There's loads of fucking banging tunes. I can't believe I just said that. That's a fucking horribleness of fucking freestyle and stuff like this. But throughout the music cues and stuff like that, it's great. Bad guys, very villainous as well. And to say again, Prague. There's a lot of places that I recognise from being in Prague. And you just see Prague exposed in the film. Again, that early 2000s, late 90s into the early 2000s, where Prague was like, come to us, like they did with Alien vs Predator, come here, make a movie, we'll make it happen, like Bulgaria did and stuff like that. It's a time where they were getting more bang for the buck with the European stuff, and just to see Prague just showed the way it is, and especially the streets and stuff, it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. So Triple X is awesome. One and revisit it. I really enjoyed it. Brit had never seen it. She was laughing away. And again, I will say that it's got one of the best intros. The way they've just not using the music for the band to come in it. And yeah, Diesel is a bit cheesy, and the film is super cheesy at some points. But again, it was made for how it was made. You know what I mean? So it's the reason why Vin didn't return to Fast and Furious or Rob Cohen at the time, and we're open doorways to other stuff. So yeah. Massive rant. When it comes to Samuel L. Jackson, he's great in the support. Got the scar on his face. Pops up throughout the movie. It wouldn't have been a flush in, flush out with him. Probably a nice golf course in Europe. Probably went off to do other things in the meantime. I think he's great. I think him and Vin Diesel worked. So yeah, plays the Samuel L. Jackson from the comeback. And he's obviously been in the last 3 as well. So last 2, Stephen. Right, off that rant, as I say, Samuel L. Jackson, the good, the bad, and the what the fucks for Triple X. Goodbye for now. Okay, and the next entry for the good, the bad, and the what the fucks for the legend that is Samuel L. Jackson. It is Triple X in the UK, the next level. Sorry, I've just been in the shot with my mask on. Called State of the Union, or State and Union in America. Vin Diesel doesn't return. Vin Diesel didn't return for a lot of sequels. He didn't return for Too Fast, Too Furious. He wanted to return for Riddick. I think this is a result of Riddick. You know, Chronicles really going big and bold. But anyway, Ice Cube. I love Ice Cube. I think Ice Cube is so much of a great talent. Brilliant rapper, brilliant writer, Friday comedy genius. But obviously at this point he'd been transitioning to the action. Now Ghost of Mars and this 2 films are like where Cube was really slim and looked like he could probably deck you. It's weird that he's never been in the Fast and the Furious franchise, that's for sure. I'm not saying that Ice Cube couldn't deck you. He's a bit of a force to be reckoned with. Now, this film, to me personally, it's just fucking weird. Sorry, it's fucking 8 o'clock in the morning. William Dafoe and Scott Speedman. Ice Cube, William Dafoe, Scott Speedman. On the front cover, you have... She's not even name checked. So you have the girl... Oh no! And then you have Samuel L. Jackson on the front cover. Samuel L. Jackson did not get his name checked, which is absolutely mental. Samuel L. Jackson doesn't even get his name checked on the back. It's fucking mental. Now Scott Speedman has been in a few things in Waterworld posters right there. That's why I said that. And then just disappeared. William Dafoe, the death of the sequels. Speed 2, no. You know what I mean? But he's incredible. You know what I mean? This is the Green Goblin. This is after the Green Goblin. When it starts, it's totally different. Gone is the fucking mint. Like, how to top that? Like, when you talk about the first, the second, right? And you're going to cash in on this Triple X. I mean, this could have been I'll get there in a second, but like, this starts off and you think, how do you beat the Rammstein intro of Triple X? And they just don't even try. It comes up, it's very James Bondy, and I said that this took 2 nights to watch. And it's got this very James Bondy thing, it's very fast paced, and then of course from the director of Die Another Day, the James Bond film before that. So it's kind of like, there's a shift here. You know, it's been backed by Sony Pictures. You know, Ice Cube comes in, it's got a completely different tone, it's got a different tone of music. Samuel Jackson is like sort of lost the scar a little bit. The sidekick from the, I might say Peter Scargrass maybe, he's in it. So the sidekick returns, they've got the car, they need to find a new Triple X. If you look at the extra features of Triple X and the Extreme Edition, they kill off Vin Diesel in the extras and are really bad. I mean, they even use Rammstein again. And they're all like, he goes in the building, the things they want to do for my country. You never see his head, face, and all that just blows up. And they kill Xander Cage off. And they even hold it up and go, you never had too much between the ears. And it's just like, it's a proper ripper in Vin Diesel. But yeah, he's killed off, saying that he was killed in the country earlier on. And there's a big hit on there. And it just gets messy. It's completely weird. There is a few stunts. A couple of car chases, there's a fucking crazy tank scene on a boat, and you know, like, it's just not as good. It's a completely different realm. As I say, it's just got so much James Bond element. It's almost like, do you know what I mean? I've said for years that the whole mythology of James Bond, there's nothing stopping that Idris Elba being James Bond and stuff like that, do you know what I mean? Because James Bond is apparently just a code name. Do you know what I mean? And that's really cool, and it's also cool if you think that Sean Connery is still the James Bond character in The Rock, and it's just like that multiverse of things. And this is like, to me, Triple X was a massive hit, and it was a massive hit for a few reasons. Rob Cohen for a start, and Vin Diesel's popularity at the time, and also the backing of how much extreme sports was at the time. Tony Hawk's and Matt Hoffman at that time had the games that were fucking everywhere, the music it used, and then this would come out a couple of years later, and this is when that DVD was its hype, you know, the Triple X came out, VHS DVD, this is like DVD. As I say, the name change, the Next Level is a great name for it, but it's like, this is the Attitude one. But the marketing strategy going back to Samuel Jackson being on the front but not name checked, it's should be William Dafoe, like William Dafoe, Ice Cube, William Dafoe, Scott Speedman, and then, you know, they need the people on this. But yeah, whatever. So we'd have that, and then obviously years later we were going to get Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage. But for an Ice Cube movie, I enjoyed it, and he was the right person for it. It's almost like who replaces who. It goes back to like almost like a Predator reference, where you go, right, who replaces Arnold Schwarzenegger and why? Get Danny Glover. And I think Danny Glover in Predator 2 is so underrated. So it's like one of them. But I think what's great about this is how it all comes together in the third one, and I think as a trilogy it's mint. But it says this, like, from the CGI, I mean, some of the CGI is not great, especially the train sequence when he's on the car and he's going down, and the fucking it's just like, don't look at the screen. It gets pretty bad. And you know, William Dafoe, Willem Dafoe, you just can't trust him. So yeah, that was Triple X. To me, it's great that Samuel L. Jackson came back, and it looks like he was going to get killed off. I'm not going to say it's a good film. It's going to go on the, like, a bad film to me, on the borderline of what the fuck, because of how Samuel Jackson's used in it. So when it's Samuel Jackson, it is what the fuck, because he's on the front cover, he's not name checked in back credits or even on the front. He's the main selling point. Do you know what I mean? He's the Anne character, and it's just a clusterfuck. But it's great for him to come back. And again, Samuel Jackson, he's just a workaholic. He's a golfaholic and a workaholic. Right, see you in the next part of the video. Alphabetical. Hello, and the next Samuel Jackson. Now, Samuel Jackson is not in room 237. That's my little documentary ones over there. But Samuel Jackson returns in Xander Cage. Return of Xander Cage, Triple X. So, Vin Diesel killed off, and the extra features sort of like, oh, well, you don't want to do what you want to do. He doesn't want to do many sequels. Vin Diesel has just agreed to do another Pitch Black. I mean, we'll probably get a pop vinyl soon. I'm a massive fan of Ice Cube. There's Ice Cube there. And his car. Brum brum. Got a bit out of hand with pop vinyls, but Triple X 3 in 3D. And Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa, Ruby Rose, Samuel Jackson, football player. Don't know who he is. Watched it last night, and like watching the three of them back to back here. It, like, again, when the film starts, and it's a satellite and it's going around, it's homage to the second one. It doesn't even fucking try to top Rammstein. In fact, the lack of new metal is just gone. This doesn't have any form of new metal. This has borderline more of a Fast and Furious theme. It's, you know what I mean? It could be like Dom having a dream, this fucking thing. And it, you know, it keeps the flows of the second one. So again, you know, and this film goes back, and obviously when Vin Diesel returns and he's on his motorbike, bike backflips and all kinds of weird shit, it kicks up the action where we're going. Starts off, bit of espionage. Samuel Jackson looks like he's dead again, so again borrows a bit from the second one, and then basically it shows you Donnie Yen coming in, and Tony Jaa's there as well, and some spectacular stunts, some spectacular hand-to-hand combat, Mortal Kombat kind of style. Woof, gone. And then we get Vin Diesel's return, jumping off a sky tower, hitting on, landing perfectly, getting his fucking sticks, going down the hill, dry ski slope, the fucking full lot, into some fucking longboarding, ridiculous stuff, and that sort of drives you into going, right, that's what was kind of missing from the second one, but this is what Triple X is. It's meant to be fun, and it's meant to be ridiculous. And, you know, Gibbons is dead, that's the coil for him to come back. He goes and gets his coat back, things I'm going to do for my country, and all that kinds of stuff.
And it's like, you got Muriel from Muriel's Wedding, she's the bad guy. Again, it's a bit like a Fast and Furious when Thingy Bobby comes into it as well. And it sets up chucking the guy, I live for this shit, chucking the guys at the back. So there's a lot of nods to the first one. And Finn's just totally had a bit of fun with this. Especially the setup and all that with the guy with the bag and stuff. The film gets ludicrous and looks lush when they all go to the island of pirates, basically. And there's that party in the hood, gets his hood up and everyone starts raving, and it's, you know, it definitely channels like this new generation kind of thing. Uprising stars. I'm guessing one of the other guys is a boxer because he's got a ding ding bell at the sound of his name at the end. Again, it's bringing in people that are not necessarily known and bringing it a mass appeal, you know what I mean? So anyway, off that rant, as I say. Yeah, we then get Donnie Yen and Vin Diesel on motorbikes going up a waterfall. Tidal wave, chasing across the sea, and you think, what the fuck? And it hasn't aged well in CGI wise, but this is obviously one of the scenes that's definitely been made for 3D. Another appeal to bring Triple X back in the 3D era. There's a great lot of supporting cast as well, especially the tech nerds and stuff like that, and you know how the team becomes one and they're all against one common enemy. And then there's a lot of stunts in the aeroplanes, a spectacular stunt that looks like it just fell out of is that called Far Cry? What's it called? The game? The free roaming game? Just Cause. That's the one. And to me, you know, the film is funny. Britt was laughing her head off. I mean, there's a bit where everyone has the moments when he does that with the whole Predator vision and shoots him in the head. It's pretty decent. But the icing on the cake for me is when they're down in line, and not only do we get a brand new Ice Cube track, we get Ice Cube and just sort of with a grenade launcher and stuff like that. And it's a nice, brilliant, like, just a nice kick. Hello. Camera's gone off. How was it? The camera's had enough of me talking. Have you had enough of me talking? Because I'm still going to talk. Probably needs to come in. It's still there. It's hang on. Wait there. And we're out of time. Wham! So yeah, just at the end of the movie when you need a kick, Ice Cube turns up and it's just fucking mint. I like it how they give all like this funny facts and stuff like that, and I like the homage that yes, Samuel Jackson's back again, faking his own death. But again, if you look at it, Sam Jackson was obviously doing the Avengers and stuff like that, and as well as all of our movies, he's probably only had 2 weeks work, probably before and after, you know what I mean. He does the scene in the church, and he does the scene there. See the scene at the end as well, like getting everyone together, and you look at like there and you go, why is Ice Cube just sitting at the side? Well, that's a massive pan scan shot of all the cast and Ice Cube's at the side, but you know what I mean, it's one of those things, schedule nightmare. So anyway, right, when it comes to Samuel Jackson, this is the best. I think this is the best out of the three. I mean, give or take the original intro with Rammstein on the first one's amazing. The second one does have great elements, but I think this is a trilogy. It's great, but Samuel Jackson, it's a really good film as well. CGI, stick with practical stunts. That they could have done a lot more, but again, it was like you could see what they're missing with the second one. But again, to keep Ice Cube in it and that homage, Ice Cube could clearly have a role in Fast and the Furious. I don't know how many Samuel Jackson movies this is, by the way. Now, it's definitely around the 6 to 8 mark. This could even be 10. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. Well, I'll see you in the next part.
Hello. Right, okay, first off, hiya for the love of movies, or 80s movies, Mark. And I'm making sure I don't wear a tight t-shirt. I just want to point out, if you check out the June unboxing, the Creature from the Black Lagoon t-shirt was from 2010, and I thought I'd lost it. Yes, I need to lose a bit of weight. That's it. Right, so this is Samuel Jackson's The Good, The Bad, and The What the Fucks. There's no nat. I thought this was going to be enough natural light for you, but hang on, jump cut. Is that a little bit better? It's really early in the morning. It's one of the hottest times of the year. Like, I've been off this week, and I've stayed in the house. I didn't even leave the house yesterday, except for maybe jumping out back door to do some laundry and like my little time hop. That's what this is. So last night we watched Mrs. Paraguay's School for Particular Children. Hate that name, butcher that name. I probably said it wrong. I'm not going to repeat it. Tim Burton. Tim Burton is going up and down. Tim Burton from the 90s is amazing, and then, you know, Tim Burton's always going to carry that, you know, what he's set such a high bar at an early
like, you know, Batman. Do you know what I mean? It's his second film. Like, well done. Like, you know, that's not sarcasm as well. So it's like, how do you top that? You know, he's done the Edward Scissorhands. He's, you know, Dumbo was a bit weird, but this was obviously based on another book. And now I'm told that the book is in this library somewhere, but I'm not looking for the book. It's 1 of 6 now. Eva Green seems to be his new go-to, as she would appear in. I think she's in Dark Shadows. I thought Dark Shadows was really good, and she would go on to be in Dumbo as well. And it's got a few familiar faces, this movie, especially the lead kid who's been in stuff like Slaughter High and stuff like that. Okay, so Samuel Jackson's in this, and I think Samuel Jackson is fucking creepy as fucking this. With his bright white sticky up hair, he's no eyes, he's fucking massive teeth. He's terrifying, and the story is, if you don't know it, as these are peculiar children with all special stuff. So one's invisible, the other one's got teeth in the back of their heads. There's 2 twins that take the masks off, you die. One floats, the other one puts organs in stuff and makes stuff come alive. It's fucking creepy as fuck. And then there's this other kid who's basically growing up on his granddad, telling them stories, and he's like, no, they're true. And his ability is he can see shit, and there's these creatures that come after them. So Mrs. Paraguay, she has this school, and unfortunately there's a time loop. They're able to create this portal around the modern world, but unfortunately for them, it's when the Nazis drop the bomb on the school. So every night at 9 o'clock they've got to go out and wind the clock back. They wind it all the way around 24 hours so they can go back to bed that night. And they literally live in a Groundhog's Day universe. Now there's a couple of kids that went past on bikes. You might hear them out the background. Yeah, anyway. So the film is the kid finally, finally accepts his granddad's truth. They come all the way across to here in England, and they're running around the caves, and he finds this loop, and he gets to meet the kids, and they're all like, come down here, and one of them's got like this secret place in the ocean and loads of stuff. Mental. But, you know, it's very drained of colour, so like the Tim Burton-ness, it's there, but it's drained. Tim Burton actually appears in this as a cameo as well. And then Samuel Jackson comes along, and he's creepy as fuck. And you think Tim Burton, Samuel Jackson, like, yeah, there's your money. You know, finally Tim Burton's working with Samuel Jackson. And he's terrifying. He's the bad guy. He's the one who's like, you know, he's got the creepy, looks a bit like Mr. Glass, because he has the hair that so like out there. Hey Afro! You know, he's got that going down from. And yeah, sinister. I think he really adds, I think he's a great villain in it. He's really creepy. I think the visual effects are really good. It ends up in Blackpool. It's very drained of colour, very, you know, doesn't feel like a Tim Burton-y thing, but it should. But again, I enjoyed it. It's not bad. You know, like I've seen worse of Tim Burton, and like this is, it's up there. You know what I mean? So for Samuel L. Jackson, it's great. It's great to see him in a role. But again, if you look at his appearance in the movie, he wouldn't have been there that long. Do you know what I mean? He has this brief cameo at the start, then he doesn't really start coming in. Backstories would have been filmed like in a separate lockdown, and then he's got the end bit with the kids. So yeah, I don't know how many this is. We're up there to 7 or 8, or maybe it's 9, and this could even be 10, but I'm going to wrap this up now because the school kids are going past there and they're all going to be like, wah! So it's like Mr. Stevens' School of Particular Children walking past the window, the remake. Right. Thank you, goodbye.
Dun, diddle-in, diddle-in. So that was number 10. That was number 10, and that should have been the end of the video, but no. It's on 11. Filmed that this morning. Yeah. So this is, I mean, if you take out Drew when I first appeared, technically, you know, it's a glitch, you know, it's a mention, honourable mention Drew, and then add in the next one, which is the kiss of death. Hello. Oh. Right, you just see Nicolas Cage throw a person out of a truck, and it's not the first time Kiss of Death has been in the good, the bad, and the what the fucks. I was looking around, and oh god, this fucking floor's solid in this room. I was looking around for Samuel Jackson movies I would have. I can wing this up, so I haven't double checked how many I have since this morning, since I did miss Paraguay's Penguins. Completely butchered that probably. There's no penguins in it. Anyway, off that rant. And Kiss of Death. So Kiss of Death was handy, so I grabbed it and I'm editing. And what a cast for the early 90s. Now I really remember this from Big Box VHS in 18. Nicolas Cage, David Caruso, who I remember as being Kit Kat from Hudson Hawk. Very funny connection. Sing Sing is actually used in Hudson Hawk as well as this. Samuel L. Jackson on the front cover. Also, Michael Rappaport. Helen Hunt is in this. Michael Rappaport plays a very similar, well, he's not a cop,
but it's a very similar story to Copland, where he's basically fucked up and blames somebody else gets the blame and everyone's after him. Helen Hunt's in this in a very small role, definitely before she hit big with Twister. Stanley Tucci's in this as well. And there's a few familiar faces in the background. You're like, oh yeah, he's in that. Yeah, he's in that as well. It's a weird movie because obviously David Casio, whatever you want to call him, he went on to be big in CSI Miami. So he sort of like disappeared from films. Not long after this, really, Nicolas Cage is roided up the fuck. He's powerlifting girls, he's jumping around, he's fucking gorilla pressing people like the Ultimate Warrior. Proper rage that is Cage in this. Some proper wild moments with Nicolas Cage. And it's all like... The story's weird because it jumps ahead 3 years and basically Michael Rappaport turns up, knocks on David's door and's like, I need some help. And basically it's a sting operation and he puts his hand out, says no, he gets shot through the hand and Samuel Jackson gets shot in the face. And it all comes back. And Vin Rames is in this as well. Con Air reference. And it's all about like trying to get Junior, who Nicolas Cage plays, trying to get his family out of the crime scene. And it all bounces around a lot with that. Samuel Jackson's just out for revenge, and it gets very complicated, especially with Stanley Tucci and like who's who and who's that, who's going to be this, and obviously make a deal. He's a rat, and it's all that kind of thing. But it's very grim. I enjoyed it. It is a lost gem of the 90s, I think. I mean, it doesn't really have much closure at the end, I think. It just sort of just ties it up and looses it off. Could have been there could have been a sequel. Do you know what I mean? But I just remember when I first seen this in the video shop, you know, Samuel Jackson was making a name for himself and Nicolas Cage was a as well name for himself. It was sort of like one of the ones that came along before rock really kicked off. And if you've never seen it, it's worth watching. I mean, you'll laugh your head off at Nicolas Cage. I mean, he's taking it completely serious, but to see Nicolas Cage that jacked up in a movie, and he's wearing like almost like a top that Bruce Willis is wearing in Fifth Element, and it's white. It's not obviously cosmic orange, but it's got like loads of bits. It's a tank top, but then it's got like random circles designedly cut out and that. And he's just like gorilla pressing girls. But Samuel Jackson just really sits around in the background as like he's not even like he's the copper that got shot, but obviously Stanley Tucci's the guy, and there's all the politics side of it. And Samuel Jackson's just like the cop with a vendetta who gets migraines for being on the beach so long. So when it comes to Samuel Jackson, it's kind of like it's a foot in the door role for him. You know, it's a what the fuck movie for Nicolas Cage, how Nicolas Cage goes on that. And it's a kind of like, for Samuel Jackson, you would probably put it in the bad category because it's not much for Sam Jack. He's just there. You know what I mean? He's, you know, not long after Loaded Weapon 1, he's taking a more serious role. But this did show that you can go from Loaded Weapon 1 to roles like this, and he is dead serious. You know what I mean? He's just like, shot me in the face, I'm going to fucking have you. But then he has to bow down to the politics side of it. So it's worth watching for the guerrilla press. Big cast, as I say, Con Air with Vin Rames and Nicolas Cage in there. As I say, you'll probably recognise quite a few other people. The best crime movie since Goodfellas. David Deppy said that for the New York Mag. And it's one of them blue DVDs that came along and made the effort inside in a print, and the disc actually matches up. So yeah, that is Kiss of Death, and I don't know how many we're up to. This could be 10, it could be 9, it could be 8, I don't know. Thanks for now.
So hello, right, so that was Tarzan, or The Legends of Tarzan, My Date with Drew, The Hateful Eight, Basic, SWAT, Rules of Attraction, XXX, XXX2, XXX3, Return of Xander Cage, XXX2, State of the Union, and The Next Level, Miss, Penguins, School of Misfortune with Children, that one, and Kiss of Death, and there is no outtakes. And this has been Samuel Jackson, The Good, The Bad, and The What the Fucks, Volume 4. Thanks for watching.